Alright, we're going to be watching your demo here on Cash. You go 15-14 and a 16-6 win. We're going to start loading it and we're going to skip past warm-up, but we're going to just say, already, I'm going to just tell you 16-6, it may be a bit harder to find your mistakes because it is such a blowout in your favor. I'm aware you guys seem to have a cow. As you can see, there's a texture bug because CSGO is a really well-made game that never glitches out. But we're gonna keep the texture bug right. It shouldn't harm things too much. We're gonna fast forward through all of it. Just in case you ever get this texture bug, the solution to it is changing the resolution and changing it back again, but I'm not gonna do that. Because I think we can handle a bit of awkward textures. So you get CT side, and you're going to be buying, I hope, armor. We're going to skip buy time and see what you get. Yep, armor, that's fine. Looks like you're a majority of team going armor buy as well. Yep, no, the entire armor buy, pretty standard. The T's are looking to hit B, pistol round, which is pretty common. You guys seem well equipped. You have two people B. You're doing a 2-on-2 with your mid player playing white box, and you get the first contact sign. They have B. And here, if they take sight, you can't, yeah, running with your knife out here is, okay, well, I called it, but running with your knife out here is a bit risky, just because once they have sight control like that, it's kind of up to your teammate, but also kind of up to your knowledge, knowing that people are very often going to push tree, maybe because they get a bit overconfident, and want to get that info, kind of, in some situations, want to go frag hunting, even if it isn't that smart, which I wouldn't say it's that smart here, just take the 4-on-3 post plant, but this person is pushing tree, and you kind of have to expect that. You should always have your pistol out in this situation. Having your knife out when you're running from A like to here maybe is fine because they're getting called to alt B. But once you're here, you have to just be anticipating that tree push. But let's go back. Maybe get the kill. If you don't, that's fine. Looks like you're gonna lose this pistol round then. Yep. I'm not gonna criticize your teammates because that's not your mistake, and I also didn't see it. And you should be forcing here. That's pretty much the standard economic decision. Um, yeah, you get the 5-7, your teammate gets the Nova. Questionable, questionable. But, yeah, this is fine. So it looks like you're going to be playing A, the CT side, while the Ts are going mid, and let's see how your mid player deals with this. He seems to be hiding, but just getting the information, and it looks like he just shoulder peeked, took some damage, and is then going to be calling that a lot of mid. Your crosshair placement here should be not here and closer to here, just because I don't think I need to tell you, but no Ts are going to pop up from the middle of this, whatever you call it, the structure. No Ts are popping up from here. So just you should be pre-aimed events where, T is very going to be often just sticking around under vent, watching a highway, watching rotators. That's a pretty common spot. Um, and yeah, I do think, yeah, there's a guy here. So there's a guy in that common spot. You dink him, and then you aim kind of more erratically once you do dink him and you get the kill. So it's a 1-on-4. You should be totally fine with giving him the plant. That really shouldn't be your big denial. I thought he was on site, that's why I said that. Yeah, you shouldn't be giving him the plant here because he's in B main. But if he got to a site, you don't really need to split up your forces to put a guy A, etc. You can retake together in a 4-on-1. We're going to kind of fast forward this. I don't really want to see how he tries to walk and play this clutch, but that's always something I don't like doing is when you split up your forces in this situation, just because especially in a 4-on-1, you can retake a 4-on-1 really easily. You have 4 people to throw at one person. Splitting up makes it 2 separate 1-on-2s. And you do win it, but making it 2 separate 1-on-2s is kind of tempting fate to kind of just have him get like 1 kill, make those 2 1-on-2s into like 4 1v1s, and if you understand what I mean, like the 2 guys on site kind of get split up. He gets 1 kill, then another kill, then he has sight, and then he gets individual kills on the retake. So I always prefer putting 4 people on one site because it's a lot easier to trade. But if not, you still made it work. So let's see your smoke. That is not precise, but it is the general correct idea of it. I think it'll land fine. Spam down squeaky door. It's a very spammable door, but they're pushing off that B rush, and you gotta rotate. And again, if he's giving up sight here, you have to, take your gun out and just make sure they aren't pushing tree. And you hear a nade. You thought it was a flash. I would have turned away there too. Yeah, so it looks like I think Twist maybe pushed up a bit too far. I would have been content with him here, considering he has to wait for his teammates to get unsmoked out. But let's see how you do on this 2-on-2 retake. I'm gonna favor the not the anymore. I was gonna say I'm gonna favor the T's just because they haven't got checkers, but they don't have armor actually. And you get traded very well by your teammate. You know, it's a bit unfortunate the M4 had to die there, but it was you did the right thing by being tradable. Excuse me. So you're gonna be getting M4, and smartly. I've been watching a lot of more lower level. This is DMG, but lower level people not buying head armor or buying head armor on these full buy rounds, and you again do it right. That is the correct smoke, I'm pretty sure. I'm really sorry about the texture bug. It is awkward. There's a tiny bit of a gap in there, but it isn't something catastrophic. And the T's are kind of setting up what looks to be a default where they try to go for picks. I lied. This guy should not be pushed up mid-fence this early if it was a default. And it obviously wasn't because he was pushed up mid-fence, but I would have preferred him having a teammate at least watching white box or something. Um, Anyway, it's a traded for you get the idea that, let's see where this lands. That's exactly what I thought. It landed, I don't think exactly where you would like it to, but it lands fine anyway. You drop a little flash, and I'm assuming you're calling, I see a lot of people in main, can I have this guy rotate at least closer to A? You got a nice little kill on this guy. This guy played it pretty stupidly. He kind of rushed in without a teammate to trade him. He was kind of relying on an op or an A main to trade him, assuming he'll die from quad or something. Which again, I don't think was that smart. Anyway, you do a good job getting the kill and then falling back. You call that your teammates really, I hope you're calling, because you hear them both on A, so your teammate definitely should be going a bit faster. That should be a fake because they know you're still somewhere on site, but it isn't. I guess they're really confident that one player that was holding off for the guy who was planting. You do this. That happens all the time. Let's see, can this guy clutch? He gets the first kill. Oh no, don't. That's gonna be a bit unfortunate. Oh, this is unfortunate. Yep. He does hit that clutch, which is a pretty crucial one. It sets you guys up for a lot more momentum winning the buy round. But that's pretty obvious, right? Yeah, I wish I paid a bit more attention to it because I want to see if your teammates were any closer. I personally would have waited. I know you were walking on the bomb plant, but I would have prefer to see you wait until your teammates were pushed up a bit more, and then try to let them get the plant down and try to just take it normally. And here you're forced to buying. I personally would have scrapped the Molotov and bought in head armor just because they only won one round, and that was like pistol, so they're still not gonna have that much cash, right? It isn't like they built up a lot of cash. I would have respect the idea that you're still gonna have a low economy. All right. Looks like these three guys are going to be main, are looking to get a pick or trade, and they don't get a trade. They should get a trade on that JVU guy. He seems very low. It looks like they're going to trade him now. They're very close, but it looks like, what is happening here? Okay, but they do trade him eventually, and then they get a pick. Very good job at your JVU guy. I don't know how he played it, but he got one kill, fell back, and was able to get the other kill. Didn't get it. And you get caught out by that one guy mid. It's a lot easier to say in hindsight, oh, if you don't know where everyone is, play everything cautiously. It's very easy to say that in hindsight, but as someone who's been in that situation, usually from B to A, in my way about going, because I play B, I usually go from truck, but that's obviously because it's a different site. Um, when I do go mid, right, it's a lot easier to kind of overlook it because you have to check quad, for example, if it's a full buy, they have an op or a guy opping quad to highway. You have to watch so many things that getting caught out mid there is just such a real possibility. I wouldn't, I will tell you, um, the, quote unquote right thing and the not quote unquote right thing. You should be, cautious when you don't know everyone's in a certain spot. You have to be cautious, of course. But I also understand that's a lot easier to say than do. I'm not going to 100% chalk it up to you. And I want to see how your CTs hold this off. They're committed to B. Your CTs are at B. One kill for Kilroy, who's kind of watching the flank because he knows there's a guy mid. They're both watching the flank. I wouldn't do that, but I guess the tree guy smoked off, so he doesn't have anything else to watch. He should be with his teammate here. Kilroy gets all the action. I skipped off him, which is a bit of a shame. But your teammates do a good job holding. I won't say like you threw the chances, because sure, if you survive the made it on 3-on-3, you have a lot bigger chances. But come on, let's be real. It's a lot. It's hard to check everything very cautiously. So you're gonna get a drop room teammate. I'd like to see head armor. I think you're taking the idea of buying um, only body armor on CT side a bit too seriously, because they've lost 2 rounds in a row, and obviously they are going for this full buy. So again, when you see all of this, you can justify your decision very easily. Oh, well, they went on a full buy, but still, I think you really have to buy head armor in such situations, because they lost 2 in a row. You had money. I would have been fine seeing you skip an HE grenade and go for head armor. I find HE grenades, I think it's fair to say they're worse than smoke grenades. I'm just going on this tangent because nothing's happening. HE grenades are the worst grenade just because of how unpredictably they can do damage, just because of weird clippings on maps of CSGO. And your teammates kind of get a quote-unquote trade. You get a kill on A for a kill on mid. The T's win here from that exchange just because the Galil is the one that died, and mid control is far more important than just one pick. Because the pick the CT's got didn't come with map control, whereas the pick the T's got came with complete mid control. You're mollied off. The T's don't capitalize. Well, I'm sure that like a boss guy was going to capitalize. And yeah, your teammate gets the kill door, and you're kind of stuck watching highway here. And here's where, yeah, you really should just play side, I think. Like here, um, just because obviously no one's mid, right? As you can tell from the radar, but in game, you really do have to pay attention to that threat. And maybe you got the call last guy, yeah, okay, you got the call last guy's an A main, so you don't have to pay attention to it anymore. This does land on him perfectly, and yeah, he's kind of pinned left side. He throws a smoke out, and that seems a lot more luck than skill. That was running off, and he's gonna go land. He's gonna die pretty much as soon as he's done planting. There we go. But in that situation, I think you did it the best. You kind of just hit on site because you knew that if you could get hit by mid, if you can get hit by a main, you kind of have to just play on site. And kind of wait for your teammates, because you're not going to be holding all those angles by yourself. You have to wait for your teammates to come and play together as a team. Buy head armor, man. It's just, you have 2.3k. It will just be 2k if you buy head armor. Again, I know they're buying AKs this round, but you don't know that, and they've lost 3 in a row. You have to really just give respect to the idea that they're buying, pistols per se, and if they're buying pistols, well then guess what? You need head armor. So that's already something that's not like a huge crippling mistake, but that's something that, yeah, you should work on. Get head armor. Here, I don't want to see you push just because you have the man advantage. So having this huge map control lead to say, while also not having it known that you have this lead because the pick came from mid, you didn't kill someone in A main. I'd just like to see you stay in A main. But won't get you a kill. You would have gotten that kill if you stayed there regardless, but I'm not gonna pretend it was the worst move in the century. And this is what I would have. No, not this. But before you pushed, I would have liked just to see you play like close, and just deny them A main, but not throw yourself outside of A main. Because let's say, maybe they're waiting for a pick to trade it back. Because oh, we lost. I'm just gonna pause right here just to talk about how I felt about how the T should have done that. They lost a guy. It was a 4v5. So I think in those situations, a 4v5 early round for on a full by T, you have to kind of wait for pushes because you're hoping the CTs are stupid. Not to call you that dumb, but that's like something that's, in my opinion, stupid. If you're a T, you're kind of just hoping a CT does what you just did and just plays over aggressive in a man advantage situation where they have the advantage already. And considering the fact that they weren't even watching like an A main push, like they let you push into A main, just not push and. Well, they do let you push outside of it, but let's say they watch outside a main. You still have the map control of a main, and that's still another huge lead that you got from that push. You don't have to be that kill hungry and push. Maybe your teammates were calling it was B or something, but I highly doubt it because there was like no one B. But if your teammates were calling it, that's definitely more understandable. Um, I can sometimes do that same mistake, but I think for me it's a bit different. Not to try and excuse myself, but oftentimes when I'm pushing it, it's going to be pushing mid when I have an SMG and I'm playing close, I push mid. But pushing But generally, when I get into garage, unless I get a call from my teammates that's a very specific location, I just hold garage because, okay, I'm getting this map control and I can just hold basically all of mid bar if they boost. And same thing when I play B, I generally push B when I have an opper who's watching it, sees nothing cross, and then maybe mid round then I push. Not early round, which you just did, right? And that can, especially now when you have man advantage, because that's just giving a tease a possible pick to bring it back to an even situation. Anyway, you win the round. Maybe this is a lot to do about nothing. So let's just go back into it. You're kind of stomping them, as kind of evidenced by your 16-6 storyline. A mistake I'm noticing is that you really don't like buying head armor. You dropped someone before buying yourself head armor when you still had 100 armor, so it would just be 350 extra. And again, I don't know if this is like a thing where you read, oh, you don't have to buy head armor on CT side, and you took it way too literally. Or you really are that afraid of AKs every round. I know they have loss bonus, but generally here you'll see a pistol armor, not a AK buy, and then they'll go get a full buy with ops and utility the next round. Anyway, not to criticize, because this AK buy is working out very well as they get mid control, put pressure on you, and then there's some main, so you put pressure there. Let's see how the splash pops. Oh no, that wasn't the best angle. You hear them A, you should be calling your teammates to help. At least one of them does that. And yeah, they're watching the smoke, and that's a bit unfortunate. I think they should win this round. The CTs have no business winning this round. No, they don't. Here, it's a bit unfortunate, just because you guys want so many rounds in a row, but you don't actually have the biggest bank, because it is CT side, because it is so tough sometimes to build up that money. Let's see, I don't think you're full buying. Okay, so you're not necessarily full buying. You're just kind of ecoing. Sorry, that's not what I meant to do. That's definitely not what I meant to do. God damn it. Okay. Yeah, that's what I meant. So you see a guy, I don't really think this is that interesting. You push Squeaky because it's an eco, so map control is definitely more valuable in an eco. Um, but you want to get more information because map control in an eco, especially on a 5v5, isn't really enough to win it. You're kind of stuck here. You're just afraid of them knowing you're here, so this is interesting. If you push out, that's interesting and a bit gutsy, just because you kind of have to expect they're going to have a guy watching flank because they already saw a guy pushed into Squeaky. And maybe they don't watch flank. Oh, okay, no, they do. But that's a bit of a gutsy play. Not necessarily the wrong one, because gutsy is totally fine on an eco. Now you're going to go for that buy, and yeah, again, totally fine to buy only body armor here, but the previous rounds is where I would be more critical about it. But like, for example, this round your teammates definitely should be less focused on full armor. Because 350, 750, that's 1,000, 1,200, 1,400. He could have gotten a FAMAS and some utility if he just skipped the kit and the head armor here. So yeah, head armor is kind of being overdone this game on CT side, I think. And Kilroy should be buying with the team. So you gotta pick mid. And let's see how you play based off that. I think, yeah, you always should have a guy on site as an anchor on a buy round. So, for example, well, it looks like, I don't know. Huh. I don't think Killer should get on that kill. I mean, I didn't see the circumstances. And you see a guy, man, you can fall back, you get mollied out of quad. So you just fall back on site, and you should just be calling. There, nades A, can I have some help? Nades A, I'm getting low, just take your teammates here, because being so kill hungry isn't really gonna help you that much. There you go. I even think that maybe you shouldn't have pushed. Let's see where your teammates are. Yeah, I wouldn't even have pushed forklift, frankly. I mean, I guess you didn't know there was a guy left side A main. Because if you didn't, I think that's fine. If you knew there was, I don't think you should have challenged him. I'm not sure if I saw you see him, but I don't think I did, so I think it's a totally fine play. Just kind of backfired that the guy was left side A main. And again, let's say you did know, if you didn't know he was there, then the big obvious issue is that you have a huge man advantage, a 4v2, and you should just be focused on kind of making sure you can trade your teammates, or your teammates can trade you, which they couldn't do in that situation. They're not just trying to push for kills.
Laying down smoke. Incendiary out.
And even here, I don't have an issue as much with not rotating here, even though cash is very rotate dependent. 'Cause until you see bomb, which you just did, I think, you should always have a guy on like a site, right? Especially after they just lost a round, right? That's the ugly flash. No, you shouldn't be pushing him in. I think here, if you saw a bomb, you definitely should be rotating. You don't have to walk. Like, yeah, you definitely don't have to walk. Your teammates have seen all of them. They've seen bomb. I think once you see bomb, you have to just try to focus on getting there fast. But if you don't see bomb, it's always valuable to keep like one guy on a site. I'm often that player on like Mirage, for example, or I'd just be sticking on site. And I'm assuming you're waiting for your teammate to call that they're planting or something, or your teammate to call that he's gonna push, and then you guys push together. Your teammate gets one kill and you drop down. I think you should try to push together with this last guy. You didn't necessarily push together, unless your teammate might have pushed heaven and just couldn't see him because he wasn't exposed to heaven, which, that's fine. We're gonna fast forward this because who cares about you defusing? So you finally get head armor. That's good because they should be on eco, and I think you recognize that. I guess you underestimate how much they are on eco, or maybe you just overestimate how much buying head armor will hurt. Because it's just $350 when you have 100 armor, which you have had multiple times this round. And they're just going for a tried and true B rush. They see bomb, and yep, you're on that rotate as soon as they see bomb. Your teammate has tree, so I wouldn't again worry about necessarily having your gun out. Pre-aiming tree, just because your teammate has it, you're gonna put a Molotov. I'm just gonna see where this lands. Lands back left. You kind of wipe out this retake. Again, might seem a bit like uncool or unsexy that you don't have any kills off this retake, but you throw the nades, you would be playing the support role essentially, and that you would be getting the trade kill if your teammates had died, but none of your teammates died, so you couldn't really trade them. So not getting kills there isn't your fault in my view. I don't think there has been like many awful misplays for you. There was the one that I did call out. Yeah, pushing it in didn't cost you at all. But some of the ways you lost weren't kills weren't like the worst. And oftentimes you're kind of thrust in the awkward situation where you have to solo A. And because your other A player is focusing on mid often, which happens all the time. And soloing A is a pretty tough thing to do, especially when the T's are not stupid enough to molly quad. And by that I mean if the T's are smart enough to molly quad, well, that's a bit of a tougher pill to swallow, especially because I was on the subject already about soloing A. But when you're there, I think maybe you should be focusing more on playing sight and watching Squeaky. And that's very, again, easy to say in hindsight because you died, but I'm aware like you were just trying to hold, and generally you should get that kill, and you probably are saying like, well, I just whiffed, I'll probably get him most of the time. But even then, you generally, especially after they throw the smoke, I think that's fine if they don't throw the smoke. But if they throw the smoke, you know there's a guy A main, and if there's a guy A main and they're throwing a smoke, they're probably like committing two. And in that case, if you know they're committing two and you're soloing it, you really don't want to commit to a fight because you can get traded really easily. So that's when you call, excuse me, excuse me. But that's when you call for like your teammates on B, like, hey, do you see anything B main? Do you hear anything? If not, can you just send like one guy over because they just smoked A, instead of trying to like peek and take a fight. But generally, you should get that kill because you were holding the angle. So that's just a bit more unfortunate than a huge misplay. Though I would still call that a misplay, not a huge one. I'm not watching how your teammate retakes this. He might do it though. Not necessarily. Still should be having a pretty good half. So you're getting full utility. Yep, that's fine. I would have bought head armor instead of full utility just because I know that T's only won one right after losing. They haven't strung a lot of wins, so they might be on a sketchy buy. As demonstrated by this dude on the UP. So it seems one guy is going to be door and nothing else is committed towards A. And you see nothing A mains, you're just kind of holding a bit of an angle where you know, it's a good angle, and if it's generally not played just because T's will smoke it if they take A, but if they smoke it, then you also get the info that they're A, right? So no harm done really, in my opinion, from holding there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to tell Squeaky Door is opened just because it is kind of a black hole at the moment. But they do throw the smoke A, and yeah, you definitely should be calling for help. Your teammate should not be going B. Yeah, he was going B for a second. Yeah, he definitely should be going A now. They molly fence, and yeah, this is what I like to see. You're just playing sight. Yeah, I think you should just hold this. Aim a bit higher. I don't think this is head level. I might be proven wrong. Your teammate gets 1 kill. I don't even think you need to peek here. I think you can just, yeah, hold this now. Because your teammate got the kill, so you can afford to be just a bit more aggressive by holding this wider angle than you were holding before. Um, because then if you die, your teammate's a bit closer, and I also think the T's will be backing up a bit more after getting killed. And here, it looks like it's going to be a bit unfortunate, because just as you get away from Squeaky, and you're going to peek a main or fork, the dude pops out Squeaky. You get the kill, and yeah, definitely don't peek this. You just wait for your teammates. You just... No. What? Okay. Okay, my bad, my bad, my bad. I think. Um, yeah. Okay, I thought the guy... Okay, the guy fork died. The guy fork died. That explains a lot. Sorry. Anyway, he gets traded. Yeah, sorry. I thought you were peeking the guy fork after you got shot by him instead of him getting killed by a teammate. I was really confused why you do that because you're low. But that was a good job because you got 1 kill, and then I don't even think you should have committed to the spray transfer. I think you should have just focused on getting back behind sight because you got a kill and you put them at an even bigger man advantage, and you just got more info that they're committing to A. So just let your entire team rotate, and just kind of get the 1 kill fall back. Um, and make sure not to give the T's too much control from it, which, you know, you did a decent job of doing. I think, again, it could be improved by not committing to that spray transfer fight, which I think deep inside, you know you're going to win. But let's hold it. They're going for the rush A. And yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. You kind of are focusing on the guy fork while a guy in main comes out, and then you spray down the guy in main, but then I think you kind of lose focus of the guy fork. It seems like you're kind of paused at fence for a bit, and that gets you killed. And I think you would have killed the guy fork if you started shooting pretty much immediately after you killed the guy A main. I think if you started shooting back at fork, you would have got the guy just because he was dinked and you saw he was dinked. But regardless, you get a kill and your teammates seem to handle it pretty well. And you're bottom fragging. And we're going to talk about why. Because, you know, I can break down everything, but what you probably want to know in the end is why am I bottom fragging? So I think I kind of broke it down round by round, but what I noticed, what I kind of saw was the biggest trend is that I think you try not to, but I think you do in the end kind of overcommit to fights. Whenever they went A, for example, I think you were kind of in a position where you were giving up too much. There were some rounds where it was more like, okay, they mollied me out. Tough luck. Especially because they haven't molly quad and fence like consistently, right? They haven't been doing like a standard AXQ where they molly quad and fence every time. It's just kind of like luck of the draw. Um, but you know, there's some situations where you're just on site, and I think you're committing too much by even peeking a main. Uh, you jump spot a main a lot. It hasn't killed you, right? You haven't. I don't even think you've seen someone jump spotting a main. Um, which I'm not gonna say it's useless because obviously I probably is useful. It's just some awkward timing this game. But I think the big issue on CT side is that you're overcommitting to trying to get kills instead of just getting a kill or even just getting the info and falling back into a safer spot on site. And moments I could think of that, obviously that one time that I just brought up, right, a couple of rounds ago where you were holding, but then you probably should have just fell back as soon as you saw the smoke. Another one that came to mind a while, like a couple seconds ago, but I just forgot it. Oh yeah, not necessarily holding A, but when you heard him planting, you kind of got over eager and kind of pushed on top of red, which got you killed instead of waiting for your teammate and coordinating and push together and stuff like that. It's just like maybe a bit of over aggressiveness. Your aim hasn't been awful, and you're retaking bar pistol round where yeah, you probably should have had your gun out earlier and been a bit more prepared. Your aim isn't like you know your retakes have been fine. Generally, you don't have to retake, so you kind of shut down B. But that's what's happening. Now you had 15 and 14 this game. Oh my god, I'm on fast speed. So you're going to be entering A, and they're going to put two people here, and I don't even like the setup of the CTs. I think they should be playing one guy quad and or site and kind of just peeking for info, and just kind of peeking it very rarely, and then they should put a guy white box. Um, and it's kind of when you have five people, people will call this a 1-2-2, where you put two people mid, two people B, and one person A because it is easy to retake. Here, they don't really have the luxury of putting two people mid because one of their dudes is AFK, so they're gonna have to do a 1-1-2. Because B is the hardest to retake, mid you kind of need that info at least, and A is the easiest to retake. So as long as you get the info, you can rotate very quickly, and A is especially easier to retake when you don't have utility or the post-planting team doesn't have utility, um, and they can bet on that because it's a pistol round. Very few times where you see like actual utility on a pistol round. Anyway, it seems like you're doing a contact, maybe, kind of waiting for them to make a move. Well, no, okay. You steal a bit of a kill there. Um, and yeah, this guy kind of locks down very, very well. It's still winnable for you guys, but that guy kind of took away a lot of time. And you need to trade him. I don't know if he might have gone a kill before you, and then, yeah, you probably should have been there with your well, it's not necessarily your fault because you tried to get there as fast as possible. You were just focused on a guy like red and then quad. But the teammate after you probably should have traded him. You should have traded him a bit more efficiently. No need to give him 3 kills. But I think you guys will win this anyway. I'm just going to fast forward because none of this will be your mistake, right? It's your teammates. CTs are playing it awfully though. They should have pushed up a lot faster and a lot more together. And you're going to be getting the UMP buy, full utility. That's good. They still have a guy AFK. I'm sure that's a huge deflator. You kind of don't want people AFK on your team, especially when you're trying to second half comeback. Yeah, drop bomb if you're holding for a push, you always want to drop bomb. And the guy does push. You didn't see him because you were flashed. Let's see. Well, okay, not how I expected it to go. But yeah, I mean, you did it smart, I think, because when people push, a lot of the time they do push up into this little box. But if you're gonna push up, I think you definitely should have checked lockers, and I think you should have anticipated lockers just a bit. Maybe I would have liked to see you after you got flashed and you fell back, kind of jiggle PK main just to kind of bait out shots. Obviously, it wouldn't have worked because he was hiding lockers. But if you jiggle peek main and bait out shots, you would know like, oh, there's a guy who actually pushed it. They didn't just throw that flash from the recent. They're definitely a guy pushed it. Let's be cautious and try to bring two people to trade it. Anyway, you die here, so we're gonna fast forward this round. Overall, yeah, I would have just jiggle peeked A main after they flashed it. And if you're ever wondering, you definitely why I clicked one, I swear. You definitely should be force buying here. You force buy until team wins 2 in a row. That's the meta. There's a guy close mid, it looks like, and oh, I hate that. I'm not good eyesight. I would not be able to tell if he pushed. And personally, I would have left bomb here, just because when you're holding something, especially when you're solo holding something, and that sounds like a CT term, but when you're solo holding for like a push on T side, you generally don't want the bomb, even if you're not pushing up to like where you're peeking them area, right? So let's say you're in A main, right, and you're just holding for the push by yourself. You don't want the bomb, even though you're not the one who's gonna, let's say you're not gonna peek A main, right? You're not gonna peek into A, you're not gonna peek quad. You still don't want the bomb just because a guy can push and kill you. Where it's like a one-on-one duel. And if you just lose that one-on-one duel, generally that's just like, okay, a 5-on-4, we can recover. But if you lose the one-on-one duel, and you give him bomb, that's really hard to recover from. A lot harder to recover from than just a normal 5-on-4. Anyway, we're going to fast forward because this is your teammates doing good or bad, depending on how they do, bad. And you win out from here. 6 minutes left, and you all win out. And it looks like you're just going for a save. I'd imagine you're going to just try and play it as a team here. The two things you like doing on save rounds is either holding for pushes like for a really long time and just hoping to get over aggressive, or you just rush something together. And it looks like you're kind of doing neither. Closer to the former, right? Waiting for the pushes, which I don't like, frankly. I've come to the opinion that most good CTs Most good CTs won't push you if you know it's an eco, or if they know it's an eco, rather. They just won't push you. And it's better to just rush together. And here, it's not even like waiting for pushes wins you the round. It's just closer to like you get mid control. I don't even know how. It's like you get like a kill, and then the guy Z, they all peek a bit one by one, and that lets you get kills even without armor, just because you have multiple people they have to focus on. Um, but I'm sure they're mad. They're typing in chat, right? Yep, they're mad. They're saying spam more, please, and effing timing. So they're mad, which is always a big advantage when you reset them after a round where they hope to have a comeback, where they're just hoping, oh, maybe we can come back, right? We won the round after, and then you win this one. That's always tough. Yep, they're mad. Anyway, we're gonna fast forward by time. So you're just kind of, yeah, this is smarter. Jiggle peeking if you're trying it isn't good. I'm gonna be frank with you. If that's jiggle peeking, it's bad jiggle peeking. If that's, well, no, sorry. If that's shoulder peeking, that's bad shoulder peeking. If that's jiggle peeking, it's better jiggle peeking. Because jiggle peeking, you do generally, shoulder peeking, you don't even look where you're trying to bait, right? Because your hitbox extends further than what you can see. So you're just trying to bait shots when you shoulder peek. When you jiggle peek, you do kind of want to just like peek a bit with your crosshairs just to see if there's someone there, not just bait. But I would have preferred to see you jiggle peek, and then if nothing shot at you, then you kind of, or shoulder peek. No. I would have preferred to see you shoulder peek, and if you heard nothing, like no one was shooting at you, then you jiggle peek with your gun out. But you did the good idea by methodically clearing out white box and then Z, I'm assuming, instead of just like wide peeking, white box and Z and sandbags, which I've seen people do. Obviously, that generally leads to bad results because they aren't really pre-aimed anywhere, right? They might be pre-aimed C, but if they're white box, they're screwed, or if they're sandbags, they're screwed. Anyway, let's resume. And it looks like you're kind of giving them some time. After you get the pick, you're kind of hoping the CTs will be a bit more aggressive just because they need to get a kill. Like that, they peek mid, you get an easy kill on the guy. Well, it was a nice kill, not just an easy kill. And that was a, you know, that was a nice kill with the headshot, but that was an easy kill just because you were pre-aimed there. You knew the CTs were going to push just because they had to worry about trying to bring back the game, or, well, the game, but also the round, where they had a big man disadvantage. That is an awful cross smoke thrown by your teammate. We're going to fast forward because I don't want to watch a guy try to save and you try to hunt him, because that's a long, long thing. Or, no, he peeked into an op somehow. For maximum tilt, I'm imagining. So you smoke off Z. I wish I saw that smoke. I don't know if that smoke's off Z. Don't do that. I really don't think you should have thrown that flash just because you... Okay, let me put it this way. Your enemy team, it's a difference if it's just smoked and you're still not going to push, because your enemy team still has to worry about it. But the enemy team literally knows you can't capitalize off that flashbang because you're not going to push into the Molotov, right? And that's how you have to get out mid, by pushing into the Molotov. So they literally know nothing's going to happen with that flashbang. It's just going to be annoying to them and not really change much in the round. So I don't think I think that was a waste of a flash, but that was your teammate. But still, if you know, I'm just saying. Your teammate pushes A. He does get treated, so the right idea does prevail. You might lose this. No, you don't. But if you lost that duel, that would not be because of a mistake. That would just be because you couldn't hit a moving target, because pistols bring that out. If you do molly under boost, make sure they can't counter boost, you know, or at least trying to stop a counter boost. After your teammates trade A and bring attention to A, you're bringing it back to B. Just kind of, you know, I think that's smart because the CTs have already seen 2 people devoted to A, so they're definitely going to have more of their attention focused on A. And when you have the man advantage, when the CTs have more people focused on a certain spot and you have the man advantage, that's huge, because not only are you getting a good deal, which you have man advantage, you're getting the greatest deal possible by taking advantage of the weak spot. And it doesn't even matter that you threw your nades because, okay, you threw your nades, but and the CTs did pretty much rotate as soon as you threw your nades. But the thing there is that your nades cut off their rotates, so their rotates are kind of irrelevant if they came first because unless they push the smoke, in which case your teammates will probably kill them. Their rotates aren't going to do much. So this was a really nice call. I like it a lot. And this should be how you win it, right? Yeah, well, this is how you win it. I'm gonna fast forward this because I know you win it, right? And again, I can't praise this enough. You're just playing time. You don't care about even giving them an inch, right? Who cares if they save? We're up 15-6 if they save. Let them save. And instead, you're kind of just saying, well, we're gonna make them come to us. We're not even gonna hunt in the slightest. We have the man advantage. They probably don't have kits because they're on such a crappy economy. Um, and they're under all the pressure here. Let's just wait for them to come. So you don't even peek heaven, which I love. You're just kind of jiggle peeking tree for info if they push out the headshot. And again, you're just hiding. And you do a very good job of peeking at the same time. Splitting the CT's attention. Very good 2v2. That was well played. And I'm going to say your T side is looking a lot better than your CT side. Um, you know, the pistol round, yeah, you probably should have traded that guy a bit earlier, maybe. Or your teammate should have traded you a bit earlier. Sure. And the round after the pistol round, which they won, the force fight that they won. Yeah, maybe I actually don't remember. He died. No, he died to a push main. Holy Jesus Christ, that guy completely whiffed. Yeah, that was terrible by him. You should be dead. And you should have been traded. That should have been a trade instead of being a complete free pick. That was 100% the CT's bad. And not necessarily as much your bad, though. Let's say if he gets to kill us, he should, right? That's not really your bad. You got flashed. But you were also entering, right? So one of your teammates should, in a perfect world, be playing anti-flash and be prepared for that. I don't know if one of your teammates were playing anti-flash. I actually didn't watch it, but obviously I couldn't watch your teammate's point of view. But that's in the perfect world. You always want to have a guy, if you have like a lot of people devoted A main, you want to have at least one guy turned away from the entrance to a main playing anti-flash, just because flashing and pushing A main is such a common thing to do. And you were trying to watch flank, but that, there was a smoke in the way, so it got a bit awkward, and you're going to win this game pretty easily. There you go. I don't really care about analyzing that last shot, right? And I'm gonna post the timestamps for each round in the description. I think overall you played your T side a lot better than your CT side. I think your CT side was actually pretty shaky in terms of how you solo held A. You were kind of put with that responsibility a lot of time, and I'm not gonna lie, it did not look like you were comfortable with it. But GG, 16-6, I can't see the most mistakes. I just saw a bit on the CT side, on the T side, here and there. And hopefully this helps.